Hello everyone, Ben here, and we're back doing ranked races in RaceRoom, and today we're in the DHL liveried Seat Leon at the Red Bull Ring. Before we get going, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single race that we've got coming up. So we're underway, and we've had a disappointing qualifying, so I am expecting to make good places in the race, but with a grid of World Touring cars at Austria, it's always going to be a bit chaotic, especially on the opening laps. So right now I'm keen just to survive. We do, though, make up a handful of spots off the line and get through T1 just about unscathed, although you'll have seen we picked up a handful of penalty points for that slight coming together. On the run up to T3 now, and I take a slightly defensive line, I'm actually trying to get up the inside of the car ahead as well and just try and stay safe through this corner, so the inside line is often the best one to take, but it does compromise my exit, and that means we're now running 3 wide, and both of the other cars have better exit speed than I do. So at this stage I'm thinking they're fighting with each other now. It's a tricky downhill braking coming up on cold tyres and brakes. I'm going to take it a little bit easier and look for the switchback, which I do, and it comes off to perfection. I'm able to just scoot down the inside, reclaim the positions, and I'm now running in 8th place. I then make sure that I stick nice and narrow through the left-hander. It isn't the ideal line, but it's worth covering off any move down the inside that could see me forced wide and then ultimately into the gravel. And then we're into the final sector of the lap. It's really intense racing on the opening lap of any touring car race, but by and large, so far in this one, it's been pretty respectful and well behaved too. And as we come down now towards the end of the lap, the car ahead runs wide. We're now side by side. We just nip ahead. He manages to rejoin behind us, so we're going to come over the start finish line for the first time after one lap at the Red Bull Ring, running in 7th place. So we've gained some really good spots there, and we've got a little bit of free air now up ahead of us. The car behind us just having a little look to see if he can stick his nose in. We go slightly tight into T1, but nevertheless we eke out another quarter of a second on the man behind, so we've got a bit of breathing space behind, we've got some clear air ahead, and we can now think about just settling down into this race. I mentioned that qualifying had been difficult. For some reason, every time I've been in this server this week, the qualifying has been really bunched up, with people kind of vying for space on track, and with the need to get heat in the tyres and brakes, and the possibility of others making mistakes. I just could not get a clean run in this qualifying session, so I was easily about a second and a half down on my ultimate pace, and therefore starting more into the mid-pack of cars than perhaps comfortably in the top 10 that I was hoping for. Having said all of that, crew chief did tell me at the top of the race that getting into the top 10 would be a good finish, and that's based on other drivers' ranked rating in the server. So for the time being, we're looking good for that now. So other things to consider as we come around to the end of lap 2 for this race. It's very, very fast circuit this, but virtually every single corner is either an uphill or a downhill braking zone, and it's a real challenge to keep control of these front wheel drive cars as you go into those kinds of corners, particularly the downhill braking zones as the road falls away. So I'm looking to be particularly careful and precise on that as we come now into lap 2. And if you look up ahead, there's going to be a big incident coming into T1. Car actually flips over. He does 2 barrel rolls as he just caught the sausage curbs there on the inside of T1. We're going to look at that now on a replay from his position. Look at that, he just gets airborne. These cars take very little encouragement to get up on 2 wheels, and he felt the full force of that. The sausage curbs really are dangerous here. I mean, they're there to act as a deterrent from being too greedy on the inside of corners, and we've seen that in Formula 1 when they race at the Red Bull Ring, where getting suspension damage and things like that. So there's a real risk-reward trade-off in terms of how aggressive you go into those corners. So I've fast forwarded now into the kind of middle part of this race where we're running up in 6th place. We run slightly wide at T1 there, and we're going to get a time penalty for that, slow down penalty, but we'll make that back up reasonably easy into the braking zone of the next corner. And so really we've just been trying to kind of gain some time on the car ahead, as well as maintain a gap to the car behind. Not all battles in races are side by side. In fact, the longer the sessions you run, most aren't. So the driver behind me, he's taking about a tenth or two out of me every lap at the moment. So I'm at the minute constantly checking the amount of time we have left, doing some mental sums as to how safe a cushion I have to him, and whether I need to push a bit more or not. And likewise, the gap ahead is remaining pretty consistent as well at around the 3-second mark. And that's just about close enough that if he makes a mistake, I'll be able to capitalise. So we're now into the last 2 laps of this race. We haven't really been able to make up the gap to the car ahead, but we've been able to kind of hold it consistent. But as we come now into the downhill braking zone of the hairpin here, he runs wide and he's off into the gravel. He's going to rejoin with dirty tyres. We hold to the inside. We're safely past, and against all expectations, we've now gone up into 5th place. And the car behind us, who'd been lapping so consistently and so well, has now dropped a place to us with just a lap and a half of this race to go. So we're now running in 5th place, and really the remainder of this race is going to now be all about remaining neat and tidy, managing the pressure of knowing we're about to get a really good result, providing we don't make any mistakes. We know that he's a little bit quicker than us, but he's not a lot quicker than us. We were able essentially to kind of peg him at around 3-second gap for pretty much the entirety of this race. So if we run our pace, he's going to really struggle to get past. I mean, he might make a big move late on, but that would be risking the entire race for a single position. So we come into T1 for the last time now. He's about 7/10 behind us. We're a little bit tentative. He runs very wide on the entry to get the kind of best line through the corner, but we're still about 7/10 ahead as we come up the hill now to the tricky T3 tight right-hander, and I'm going to maintain our line as best we can, get on the brakes as late as I feel comfortable and turn into the corner. We're a little bit slow on exit because we hit the curb, and he's getting 2/10 on us through that corner alone. He's now going to be in our draft as we come around the back, along the back straight, and this now is going to be a key braking zone. Can we just hold him behind us through here? He's going to have a little look to the inside. He does think about sticking his nose in, but he's not close enough. We get a decent exit there, but we're now just 3/10 ahead of the car behind. So there's no real opportunity to get past us here as long as we're able to kind of keep the car in a sensible position. But he does have a little bit of a look, you can see in our rear view mirror, but he's not able to get the nose up the inside. We're now running virtually nose to tail as we enter into the final sector of this final lap of the race. Really, really tight racing here. We've got 2 corners to go, both tricky braking zones. We're going to play as safe as we can. I want to get to the inside. I want to be as cautious as I can and essentially make sure that there's no room for him to get down the inside of us. Park it on the apex. He does squeeze right up behind us. He's basically pushing us around the corner, but he can't get past. He's now in our draft. He's going to try and get the nose out to take us on the line, but he's not got the speed to do it. He can't do it. He veers back in behind us, and we take P5 on the line. Fantastic race at the Red Bull Ring here. Really, really enjoyable. And a really good finish from starting in the mid-pack to get 5th place. Really happy with that. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single race, and I'll see you next time.